Hello everyone and welcome to our Stargate lore video. Today, at the request of House Hendoe, I really hope I pronounced that correctly, we are going to be talking about the Bedrosians.
Hey Rhaegar, you know that we come in peace business? Fight me.
History. The Bedrosians were a group of humans who were brought to their world, which we only know as P2X416, by the Underlord Neftirum. It should be noted that currently they are not the only group of humans on their world, the other being the Optricans. When Neftirum ruled over the world, it is likely these two groups were one people, though obviously that has changed since he left. The next event we know about them in their history was something called the Upheaval, a period of time when violent earthquakes and volcanoes had ravaged the continent of Bedrosia about 2,000 years ago. It's not clear when Neftirum left, but if I had to guess, and I have to be clear this is my theory, not part of the lore, is that when the upheaval happened, Neftirum, believing it was going to result in the extinction of all life on the world, decided to just head out and leave the humans for dead. Between then and when first contact happened with Earth, we know the two groups had formed and believed in contradictory beliefs about the origins of humanity. The Bedrosians believed that Neftirum had created humans on their world, specifically on the continent of Bedrosia, while the Optricans believed that humanity had been brought to their world by aliens through a gateway. This led to the two becoming rivals and starting a decades-long war with each other that was still going on when first contact happened. Speaking of first contact, that happened in the year 2000 when Bedrosian archaeologists had uncovered the gate. Thanks to a new program developed by Carter, Stargate Command was notified that the gate was active and dialed in. While one of the archaeologists named Naya was excited at the prospect of meeting aliens, Malin wasn't, as the existence of the gate disproved basically everything they believed in and ran off to contact the military. When SG-1 came through, they had a brief conversation with Naya about the world. And I mean brief, it was like 3 minutes before the military arrived, and when they did, Carter, Jack, and Daniel were captured. Naya and Teal'c had managed to escape, but Teal'c was injured after an encounter with a Bedrosian soldier, which resulted in him going blind and his symbiote being damaged. The Bedrosian commander named Rhaegar was convinced that SG-1 were Optricans and the gate was not real, keeping SG-1 in electric dog cages. Kinky. And probably broke the Geneva Conventions, if this world has the Geneva Conventions or something like it, by torturing SG-1, trying to get them to confess to being Optrican spies. Even when Stargate Command dialed in and he had a conversation with General Hammond, Rhaegar continued to refuse to believe that the gate led off-world. He planned to move SG-1 away from the gate, but at that moment, Teal'c and Naya launched a rescue mission and they all escaped through the gate just as more Bedrosians were coming in, with Naya ending up working as a research assistant for Daniel, who we never see again. Society/factions. So for this part, I decided to merge factions and society into one category, since we know so little about the factions and societies for both groups. The first faction is the Optricans, who live on the continent of Optrica and believe humans were brought to their world through the gate by aliens. The second faction is the Bedrosians, who live on the continent of Bedrosia and believe that humanity was created on their world by a god named Neftirum. As for society, we really don't have much to go on. For the Bedrosians, given how deeply some seem to believe in their beliefs about the origins of humanity, as well as having a religious text called the Book of Neftirum, I believe we can say they're a deeply religious people. I won't go so far as to say they have a theocratic society, but religion obviously plays a big role in what they do. However, we do know some Bedrosians are willing to question this, as we saw with people like Nyan, and even a military soldier under Rhaegar's command were willing to question, and in the case of Nyan, accept the idea that their religion is wrong. And Nyan said other scientists might be willing to listen to him if they saw Teal'c in his alien biology. And with the Optricans, I can't come to any conclusion about their culture because we don't see any. I could maybe make a few guesses, like I could guess maybe they're like the Bedrosians, just they have a different belief system. Or we could say maybe they're a bit more level-headed, kind of like the difference between the Ori and the Ancients. By the way, put a pin in that Ori idea, I'm going to circle back to it. But anyway, yeah, we can't come to any conclusion about the Optricans' culture or society. Technology. The Bedrosians are technologically more advanced than Earth was in the year 2000. If I had to guess, I'd say they're roughly equal to the Uronians, funny enough. And we can assume the Optricans were roughly equal to the Bedrosians as well. Some of their technology includes their shuttles, energy weapons that have a stun setting, healing tech, one of which can cure blindness, force fields that can stun opponents, and remind me of the Tholian webs, to be honest. Relations with other races. Obviously, the Bedrosians and Optricans have hostile relations with each other, and while first contact between Earth and Bedrosia was between military and hostile, I really don't think it would have been better if it was between civilian leaders, since Earth's mere existence disproves their beliefs, and if the civilian government has people like Rygar in it, it again would not go very well. Although the Optricans would probably love for a chance to talk to Earth. Interestingly enough, I don't think the Bedrosians would be opposed to alien life, as throughout the episodes we get kind of hints that they understand what an alien is, something that is, well, alien. So specifically, I don't think they'd have an issue with non-humans throughout the galaxy, as the existence of non-human alien life doesn't contradict their beliefs. So they'd probably be fine with groups like the Nox or the Owns. It's the various human groups throughout the galaxy who would draw their ire. And for the Optricans, they'd probably love for a chance to talk to anyone besides the Bedrosians. Fun facts. For fun facts, I have 3, although the latter 2 aren't really fun facts and are more observations. First is that the rifle used by the Bedrosians was later reused as the Wraith spear gun. Seriously, look. That's kind of a cool fact, isn't it? The second is under Netflix's description of the episode, they say SG-1 travels to the planet of Bedrosia, but it was firmly established in this episode that Bedrosia is the name of a continent, not a planet. Which is weird because both Hulu and Amazon didn't make this mistake. Come on, Netflix, this is why you're falling behind. The final thing is that when SG-1 left, they left in a hurry and had to leave some equipment behind. Most of it would probably be useless to the Bedrosians as their tech is more advanced. However, there was some advanced tech left behind, such as 3 GDOs, 1 ZAT, Teal'c's staff weapon, a Naquadah generator, and a portable dialing computer. Now, this is me going into theory territory again, but I think the Bedrosians could have used this tech to upgrade what they have and gain an edge on the Optricans, maybe even going on to conquer them. Maybe in a future story, in a future Stargate show, it would involve an SG team coming into contact with the Bedrosians as they begin using the gate to expand outward into the galaxy. Maybe they change their beliefs so they acknowledge human life in other worlds, but they believe they come from Bedrosia and it's their duty to teach these other humans about the true history of humanity. Kind of like an Ori situation, but this is just a fun idea I thought of when I was looking at this. And that was the Bedrosians, and I like them. I think they're a good one-off enemy for SG-1 to fight, but I also like them because I like the reactions they give. Now, imagine if tomorrow something you always believed to be true turned out to be false. Let's say Ancient Aliens is proven correct. Everything the show has ever said, 100% true. I think this episode lets us see the main 3 reactions people would give in this kind of situation. You have someone who falls back on a tradition that lets them hold on to their belief, in the case of Rygar religion. You have someone who's opening to question this but still goes along with the norm, and then you have someone who opens up and accepts it. And you can even apply this to other things, like politics or your own morals. What would you do if something you believe so deeply turned out to be false? To me, it just gives a good science fiction scenario that does what science fiction does best and questions the human condition. But what do you all think about the Bedrosians? Do you like them? What do you think about that idea I had of them coming back in a future Stargate series? And how would you react if you found out something you believe so deeply turned out to be false? Let me know in the comments below and maybe leave a like and subscribe. And remember,
you said there were aliens here.
Yes, sir. Those people came through the gateway.
No, they didn't. It's a trick. A contrivance.